Good day, viewers. Welcome back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio, that is I. Why I am not a Christian. This is part 2. So part 1 was, of course, there is no evidence for anything supernatural. And I tell believers this all the time. Now, number 2 gets even better. I like this better. I like to have fun. I like to smile. I like to tell believers and show them there's a healthy alternative outside of these concepts of God. So why I'm not a Christian. Number 2, ready for this? I don't need it. And I, and everybody else out there, are too good for these religions, these books called the Bible and the Quran. So number 1, I don't need it. Not long ago at a particular grocery store. And people love to hear these preacher stories. I do the same style I did 30 years ago as a young preacher. I get a lot of stories. And these are true. I guarantee it. So at this grocery store, I noticed the clerk there had a nice big Jesus cross on. She had that particular pious look, which I'm very familiar with. I can detect them a mile away. I'm like a hound dog. And I kind of knew where she was headed. And after she checked me out, I said, all right, you have a wonderful day. And she looked at me and she goes, God bless you. Have a blessed day. And what an opportunity for me. So I said, oh, you mean God? I said, well, thanks. I know you mean well, but actually, I really don't need that. But have a wonderful day. And of course, her response to that was, which I get all the time from believers when I tell them I don't need it and I'm too good for it. They always say, oh, sir, we all need God. We're born and said we're corrupt. We can't make it through this arduous life without God. And I give her some education. And I told her, ma'am, there's a lot of us that don't need it. We've advanced and gone beyond it. So number 1 is, today, I don't need it. Now, here's another good one. This is probably one of my favorite stories of all time. I didn't start my activism until probably 15, 20 years ago, even though I've been an atheist since 1990. I went into this particular Pentecostal fundamentalist church between clients. This is, a long time ago. And I thought I would try a different method of my activism to kind of sow some seeds and get the word out there, right? And put a face on that which is being demonized. So I picked out this large Pentecostal fundamentalist church, similar to my background. And I went inside, and there were 5 people there in the office. It was a huge church. 3 of them were staff preachers. One was the assistant pastor. The other one was the youth pastor. And another one was like the professional counselor. And then, of course, 2 women who were the secretaries, of course, the subjugation of women. They were down here. They were the secretaries. And I walked in. I introduced myself, as I do. I say, hey, I'm just interested to know what you guys believe, why you believe this stuff, and how do you know what you're saying is true. We got into a nice little friendly talk, and I explained to them, actually, I'm an atheist. And when I said that, of course, I had that look that I get from Christians all the time, like, what? You're an atheist? And they're surprised that I'm smiling and talking to them and not filled with this hate and this nihilism, right? And so I asked them a question. I said, folks, since I've got all 5 of you here, why do I need, I don't have a Bible here to show you, but let's pretend this book is the Bible. Why do I need this book, the Bible? Why do I need Christianity? Why do I need to believe in a God if I already have, as a human being, as a secular humanist, as an atheist, if I already have love, joy, peace, I'm quoting from Galatians chapter 5 in the Bible, the fruit of the Spirit, in case you don't know. Fulfillment in life, meaning in life, purpose in life, empathy, sympathy, caring, and sharing. These are all human attributes that many human beings throughout different religions and no religions all share. And I made sure to emphasize I'm far from perfect, but I have some of the stuff and I'm working on it into ethology and moral philosophy and so forth. Why do I need this? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It must have been at least 15 to 30 seconds of dead silence. That's a long time with complete silence. You could have heard an old pin drop. They were looking at each other, desperate for someone to give this old atheist guy an answer. They're not used to this. Why do I need this if I already have love and so forth? So finally, one of the women, the secretaries in the church, said, well, sir, and all the others were like, whew, somebody's got to give this crazy guy some answer. This is tough. I don't know how to deal with this guy. And she goes, well, David, you could be even happier the way what you are. I had to be a little sarcastic. I went, woohoo! Give me the paper. Let me sign. Let me sign the dotted line. I'll join. And of course, they all kind of went, oh, David, oh, David. Tough question for believers. They couldn't answer me other than you could be even happier. Number one, I don't need it. And here's one, which is even more powerful. I and 99% of human beings are too good for these religions, for these beliefs, these gods, the Bible, the Quran. All it takes is to take these books called the Bible and Quran. Let's pick on Christianity because we're in America. Just last week in the Alamo, before Ben interviewed this gentleman, he was an evangelical fundamentalist preacher. And I told him, I said, dude, you seem like a nice guy, but actually, I'm too good and you're too good for the Bible. We've progressed past it and so forth. Man, he said, oh, David, you're treading on thin ice. The wrath of God is going to get you and all the typical stuff we get all the time. It's hard for people to understand this concept that human morals, human ethics are far beyond the morals and the ethics of the Bible and the Quran. My challenge to believers all the time is you go back and read this book. You tell me you don't think you're more moral than the ideas in that book? Not long ago at Georgetown, we have the Atheist Community of Austin booth there, as most of you know by now, holding up the sign, secular humanism, good without God, atheism, no God required signs. Had a gentleman about my age standing about 30, 40 feet away. Of course, he didn't want to come and talk to me. And I noticed he had this disgruntled, angry look on his face, which I get often. And he was kind of doing this, going. And I told somebody next to me, I don't know who it was, I said, look it straight ahead, 12 o'clock, notice this disgruntled older guy. Finally, I looked up and I tried to encourage him to come talk to me. And I smiled and waved at him. I said, hey, how you doing? He goes, it'll never happen. I said, what's that, sir? It'll never happen. You can't be good without God. You humanists and atheists can't do it. It's impossible. Now, I could have left it at that. A lot of my atheist friends are like, no, I don't want to get involved in this. No, this is an opportunity to educate these people. Stand up and tell them the truth. And I was honest. I yelled back at him with a smile on my face. I said, sir, you're wrong. You're wrong. We just got back from feeding homeless people. He didn't like that. Shook his head and walked off. These people need to know this. It is possible to be good without God. And it blows my mind the year 2019, people still believe this. Where does this concept and idea come from that you can't be good and moral without belief in God, without the Bible, without this divine command theory and so forth? Well, clearly in the Bible, Jesus said to the man who asked him, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Good, master. Jesus looked at the man and answered, good? No man is good, only God the Father is good. That's where they get this concept, in case you want to know. So these are the reasons I'm not a Christian. Number one, there is no evidence for anything supernatural. And number two, I don't need it. And I and 99% of you out there, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, a Hindu, New Age spiritualists, and fellow atheists, agnostics, and secular humanists, we are all too good and too moral for the Bible, for Christianity, for Islam, and the Quran. So let's go ahead and share with others this beautiful message of secular humanism. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on the Preaching Humanist. Bye.